The annexation of the Crimean Peninsula by Russia is considered by many to be one of the most egregious foreign policy blunders of the 21st century. How could a nation be able to annex a sovereign part of a country without the backlash of multiple international organizations and countries? In this video, we will be looking at the background of the entire situation and understanding how Putin masterminded a almost unheard of and unprecedented annexation of a different part of a country. Welcome to Foreign Review. Preface: it's important to understand what happened in the region. First, the Crimean Peninsula was annexed by Russia between February and March 2014 and has since then been administered as two distinct federal subjects according to Russian state media. The annexation was preceded by a Russian military intervention and was a part of greater unrest in Ukraine following the 2014 Ukrainian Revolution, according to Foreign Affairs. On February 23rd, Russian troops without insignia rushed through and quickly occupied strategic points throughout Crimea. After that, demonstrations were held in support of Russia, a pro-Russian government was introduced, and a manipulated referendum was pushed through, merging Crimea with Russia, according to the Brookings Institute. Now you may be wondering, why was the annexation of Crimea such a big deal? It was important for two main reasons. First, it gave Russia access to a warm water seaport, allowing Russian naval power to rise with a full-time warm water naval base, something it has not had since the end of the Cold War. Second, it represented a strategic move against NATO in the West and was seen as a defensive move from the Kremlin against Western encroachment. These two geopolitical factors represent a masterclass in of itself and explains why the conflict was such a big deal in the eyes of Putin and in the eyes of the US and NATO, according to Al Jazeera. Considering the egregious nature of this annexation, it is only natural to assume what was the international community's response to the annexation of Crimea. Ukraine and many other countries condemned the annexation and considered it to be a violation of international law and agreements safeguarding Ukraine. It also led to Russia getting temporarily removed from the G8, according to Business Insider. Along with that, multiple sanctions were placed on Russia and resulted in a condemnation from the United Nations General Assembly. Following the international response, it is only natural to assume what did the United States have to say about the issue. The United States implemented many programs to fight against the Crimean annexation. The White House, led by Barack Obama at the time, implemented economic sanctions it deemed, quote-unquote, responsible for the crisis in Crimea. Along with that, diplomatic efforts were canceled and military programs set to be scheduled between Russia and the United States were pushed back to an undefined date. The United States House of Representatives approved a measure of approximately $1 billion in loan guarantees for Ukraine, and in a resolution, the House Foreign Relations Committee condemned Russia's actions. In the Senate, lawmakers pushed for a measure that will blacklist certain individuals and some Russian banks and companies, although it eventually failed, according to NPR. A stark contrast to Obama-led policies from 2014, Trump's response to the Crimean annexation is eerily similar of Putin's own rhetoric. Currently, Trump's response has been nothing short of hidden. To the press, he usually gives veiled comments neither confirming or denying if Russia annexed Ukraine. However, his real views retain that Crimea is Russian because it speaks Russian. The false simplicity represents a similar talking point of Vladimir Putin and omits key aspects of this issue, according to the Washington Post. Putin is the main mastermind behind this annexation. He has overturned post-World War II European precedent and has changed the fundamental balance of power in Eastern Europe. There are three possible interpretations of Putin's desire to annex Crimea. First, Putin the defender. Putin was afraid that Ukraine might join NATO or Kiev would kick out the Russian fleet, so he took a precautionary action to ensure security. Putin the imperialist. The annexation of Crimea as part of a Russian project to gradually recapture the former territories of the Soviet Union. Putin never accepted the loss of Russian prestige that followed the end of the Cold War, as argument suggests, and he is determined to restore it in part by expanding Russia's borders. The final, and most likely, is Putin the improviser. The occupation and annexation of Crimea was a compulsive move Putin stumbled into rather than planning it out. Personally, I feel that this is not necessary, as Putin is one of the smartest and most strategic men in the world. But other than that, of course, anything's in the realm of possibility. Whatever role Putin has taken, he has antagonized himself in the eyes of the West, but has given Russia another strategic move so that it can restore the balance and prestige of the Soviet Union.